You're hearing that chuckle. I'll tell you exactly why. So I've got two beautiful ladies. One, of course, is the mommy, and the one is a young lady in studio with me. I have got Christia Ace as well as Yarika Ace, who is the daughter. Let's start with Mummy. Mummy, good afternoon and welcome.
Hey, Luca. Thanks for having us this afternoon.
It's lovely to have you guys with me, I must say, especially to start off the show. So, hey, you guys are the champions of the day.
Thank you so much. Much
And a
appreciated.
good afternoon to you, Yarika.
Hi, it's nice to be here.
Lovely to have you with me. I must say, it's going to be quite a busy day for me, but I'm just glad to start it with beautiful women.
Oh, thanks so much.
Ladies, welcome, welcome, welcome. I think it's very important, firstly, as we start, just to do a brief introduction of who you guys are. Maybe you can even throw into exactly why you're in here.
Okay, Luca, I think I'll start with this.
Yes, please.
So, the You Matter Walk, and then why are we here? So,
Yes.
unfortunately, we lost my husband in 2020 to suicide. And I was really looking for a lot of help. And I'll get to that full story. But there's not a lot of help available in South Africa.
Yeah.
And therefore, the You Matter Walk was born out of the hearts of three women that all lost somebody, a loved one, to suicide. And yeah, I would love to tell you more about it, but
You gotta give over to Yannick.
Yannicka, to get a chance.
Hi. So
Hi.
I'm the daughter of this beautiful lady sitting next to me. And I think obviously the story has touched me and it has changed my life. So sitting here with my mother and talking about ways that we can help other families that went through this is really, for me, it's a privilege. And being able to reach young people that
Yeah.
has been affected by this is quite important to me.
We're actually gonna delve more into the walk, when it is and everything. But I think it's very important for me to actually hear from you, ladies, as to why, how did it come about? Like you're saying, it was, it was started by ladies that have lost loved ones. Maybe, you, Krista, you can actually share your story. We were chatting earlier on. You said 2020, and I was like, what? That's terrible. Yeah, to lose somebody in that way in such a hectic year already as it was. I mean, we were all taking strain. So, if you can just share your story with us.
Oh, I'll have to share my story with you. So, Yaku was the love of my life, or is maybe still. We were together for over 26 years.
Wow.
We were busy immigrating because I found a job overseas, busy packing up, busy with lots of things that had to happen. Unfortunately, due to still, I don't think we ever will know the real reasons. We were blindsided by it, and he decided in January that year to take his life. I was at work, got the call. It was a hectic time, and I think the big thing for me about suicide is it leaves us with a very complicated grief. You always think, what signs did I miss? What did I not see? The guilt feeling of, I should have seen something, I should have known
Yeah.
something. And Yannicka and myself and her sister Zed talks about it a lot, is that you feel you're not good enough because you're left behind.
Yeah.
And we had to walk a long journey to understand it's not actually about us. When a person gets caught up in those thoughts and the spiral, they make decisions that they're not really aware of what the impact is. And I wish actually that we did know beforehand that there's certain things that you can look out for. Because I'm sure we would have been more attentive if we knew. And I think part of this awareness is to make people attentive to being kind and be more, you know, look at what people in your life are doing
Yeah.
and not
Be
be so busy.
observant.
Exactly, and be kind and be gracious and reach out. And there's lots of those things that I think we always think about us and
Yeah.
not about the other parties. And Sadach have taught me a lot of what to look out for, what to see. And I think they're doing brilliant work. But in our journey, I didn't see it. None of us saw it. And it left us with everything we knew have changed. And everything we knew, I want to say, crumbled up into nothing because how can it, that first time so I asked, how can it happen to us? We're this happy
Yeah.
family. Everything was going well. But what I've learned since then is it's not necessarily the people that are the ones that are sad or withdrawn. It's sometimes the happiest people that get to such a place
Yeah.
and they didn't talk about it.
And the signs just were never there.
Never. In hindsight, you tend to look for signs, and you tend to think there were things that we should have been more attentive of. But the further we go away from the event, I realize it was everyday things.
Yeah, okay.
I still don't think I would have recognized that there was something wrong.
Exactly.
But in the beginning, that was the toughest part, is the part that you have to realize it's not you. Unfortunately,
The
that
temptation to blame yourself kicks in to say,
specifically.
hey.
And I want to say something about it too, is there's a real bad stigma about suicide and suicidal thoughts. And we weren't able to talk to a lot of people about it. We had close friends that were willing to talk about it, but I wish we want to talk about it more, because
Yeah.
research shown all of us at some stage have
Have had the
yeah,
thought.
that you think, I don't want to be here, I don't want to do this anymore, I can't do it anymore. For most of us, luckily, it's in and out. But unfortunately, there's lots of us that struggle with that thought, and it's almost like
Yeah.
that little stone in a pothole, where the more the water comes, the bigger the hole becomes. Where us as friends and family, we can actually reach out and be kind and help them to, kill that hole,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a tough journey, and I think some days are brilliant and some days are not so good, because you miss that person with your whole heart.
Especially when I think there's always something we say in our communities. It's better to let go of a person you've seen, suffer from an illness. Then you're like, you know what? At least they were relieved of that pain.
Exactly.
But suicide is so sudden,
It's
and like
just-
you're saying, you are left with all these questions. What could I have done differently? Did I fail this person? I can only imagine.
Exactly.
I want to go to Yannicka. Mom was just telling me earlier on also that you've also started just, alerting people of the signs and everything, that they can look out for. But what I want to know, and maybe you can get into that as well, how did it change your life and your outlook on suicide in general? And what was your journey looking like?
I think before it happened, I didn't really have an outlook on suicide. I mean, people don't talk about it. When you see it, it's probably in a movie. Like, it never happens close to home. And this happened
Yeah.
so close to my home that I couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
It was it changed me as a person, because if I look back at the person I was before, she was a very less mature child, didn't really know
Yeah.
about hurt and grief. And I think my journey through processing all of this really led me to the Lord, because it took away my father figure.
Okay.
And then the Lord became my father figure. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for that I was able to find the Lord in that situation, because otherwise I don't think I would have handled it the way I did. And really, just for anyone that's lost someone, just to say, like, the Lord can replace that person in your life. And it makes it a situation where I can cope. It gives me an environment to cope,
Yeah.
because I have this peace in my heart with it.
Sure. Can imagine. It's difficult, but they always say the years heal. But I'm with you on that, Yannicka. It's not necessarily the years. It's also finding comfort in Christ, and finding him to heal that wound himself. Because like mommy was saying, there's probably a time in your life even now where you're like, this is how he would have done things. And so it doesn't go away. It doesn't, especially with you guys organizing such events.
Yeah, and our dad was an all-hands-on dad. Yaku was
Yeah.
brilliant with everything. I always said to him, the only thing I can do better is I work harder than him. But from cooking to fixing stuff to arranging things to everything, he was brilliant at almost everything. So it's a big gap, as you said, and the
Yeah.
girls miss it quite often, because a dad is just there, and he was that
Yeah.
hands-on dad that was always available and involved. So yeah.
So then how did you guys then come to a point where you said, look, we want to help others understand it's not their fault. We also want to say, if you've been through it, because I loved something you said early on. You said, not necessarily loved, but there's always been a negative stigma around suicide. As a result, I found that even with some families, when somebody commits suicide, nobody wants to talk about it.
Exactly.
Because there's such a negative stigma, yet it happens almost every single day.
And as I said, everybody have those thoughts somewhere along the line. Luckily, a lot of them, as I said, an in and out
Yeah.
thought. Now, I also don't have the story of talking about suicide.
Yeah.
But if I don't talk about it, and I think the fact that we don't talk about it, those people that do have suicidal thoughts don't know where to go. Because
Exactly.
who do I tell that it's really hectic in my life now? Who do I reach out? And remember, at the end, I want to tell you an 8-minute story that goes with this. They call it
Okay.
8 minutes, but it's a short story.
Okay.
But for me, where it happened is when I couldn't find help. I went to Facebook where somebody said to me they've seen a suicide group, and I thought, suicide support
On
group. It was
Facebook.
SOS.
Yeah.
When they started support, there's hundreds of these groups about bereavement, about suicide. Most of them is youth based, and that's where I one day saw Ilse's name, and I saw they asked us where we were. We're about 40,000 on the group. That tells you how bad it is.
Yeah.
And I saw Ilse's name, and I reached out, and she was not even 20 kilometers from me.
Wow.
And I said to her, "Let's have coffee. Let's talk." Our husbands committed suicide. I think it's 4 months apart.
Sure.
And we both have daughters, but we then started talking about how are we going to help others. Now, in our heart of hearts, we want to do a support group, and Vista is really there. They said they're going to help us to do
Yeah.
a support group for those that are touched by suicide, because it's different. I've tried to do grief groups, but you can't sit in a grief group and you're not allowed to say my husband passed away of suicide. Some talks about cancer, some talks about
Exactly.
heart, but I'm not allowed to say.
Mm.
So we then decided we want to do something bigger. We found a group. There's one in Four Ways that's really great, that gets together once a month. But we want to do bigger because there's so many attempts. If you think in South Africa, we have 23 successful suicides a day.
Phew.
For each one of those, SADAG's latest statistic says it's up to even 10 times that there's people that attempted suicide. No? And SADAG have really good stats. And for me, the sad thing is middle-aged men is a big category in this. And I
Okay.
think in South Africa, or maybe in all countries, men are so proud. They don't want to ask for help. They don't want to say
They don't
it's
wanna
going
speak
to...
up.
Exactly. So yeah, we then decided we want to do something. And I talked to a friend of mine that actually does events and stuff. And then she said her father committed suicide. And I didn't know because we worked together in different
Wow.
projects. And the three of us got together and we put our heads up and said, this is what we want to do. It was a lot of work. It's still a lot of
I can
work
imagine.
because we all have full-time jobs. But our heart is in it to just bring people together that they know what resources, what can SADAG do for them, what can Vista
Yeah.
do for them, what can Lifeline do with them. Reality Wellness, I think your helpline is also one of the ones on our
Yeah.
website, because we said just help others where we couldn't find help. And there are support groups. SADAG have support groups now that support people mostly online or virtual. That's left behind. But I see every time somebody phones me and says, can you reach out to this one? Something happened in their life.
Yeah.
People just want to talk to somebody that do understand what they're going through. I don't have the answers. I don't know
I
what to do.
know.
I'm not trained in this, but I just
It's your
listen.
lived story.
Yes.
You have the experience. I can imagine.
And that's why You Matter was born, is to, and the You Matter is a purpose. We want to tell every person, you matter. So Luca, you matter, and we want you here.
Love the sound of this. So give us more details. When is the event taking place, and what does it take for us to be part of the event?
So Luca, it's the 14th. It's next week, Saturday, 14th of September. It's at the Big Red Barn. I don't know if you've been there yet, but it's beautiful. You walk in the, although it's in the bush, it feels like a wood. Actually,
Oh,
it's
okay.
beautiful to walk with tall trees and really a nice walk. So people can come and join, but they have to buy a ticket because we have
Okay.
to register the number of people, and
Of
then
course.
the Red Barn hosts them for us, and there's just safety and security. But it's 80 rand a ticket
Yeah.
to just walk with us on that day. It's really a good day. All these companies are together. It's a nice vibe. Bring family, bring your dogs. And I think the main thing is for me, even the walk is nice introspection and spending time with yourself.
Yeah.
So it's really important. And then talk to the people at the stands, because there's, even for, say, for example, you pitch up alone, so somebody don't have somebody next Saturday
Yeah.
that can walk with them, they just come and tell us. We have people from Vista and from Lifeline and ourselves and our kids that will walk with you, and just to chat and just find out. It's 2.5, 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers if you do the walk twice.
Okay.
But the important part for me is a safe space to be able to talk about it if it's either that you lost somebody to suicide like us, or if you have
If it's your
suicidal thoughts
story.
and there's somebody, that they
Yeah.
want to come and talk to somebody. There's a lot of, I want to say, people that know how to manage that and walk with
Yeah.
you and work with you. And I forgot an important part. Yannicka should have remembered me. But we also have talks on that day. So
Okay.
each one of these organizations do a talk about mental health, suicide prevention, how to manage it with your children and everything. So they
Yeah.
can do that and just come and attend it and learn so much.
Okay, maybe let me give to Yannicka as we close. Any more details, contact details? How do we reach you guys?
So we're quite active on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram. My sister is managing the social medias and
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
doing it very well. So you can find out more about the day there. You can even buy T-shirts for.
I think the T-shirts, unfortunately, for this year closed.
Oh,
but
it's
yeah.
closed. Oh, sorry,
Oh,
it's
okay.
closed already. But yeah, it's really nice. You guys just come and join us. It's so nice to be there.
So the website is called youmatterwalk.co.za. And the same, if you go to the Instagram, it's you_matter_walk.
Okay.
So they can easily go there. There's also admin@youmatterwalk.co.za. If they would like to email us and ask any questions, the link for the tickets is there. So they're welcome to do that to register. And I think if we all work together and we spread this information, Luca, we can have an impact.
Of
And
course.
that's the most important thing, is that people know where to get help,
Mm.
that they know where to actually reach out for that help, and then how many organizations is helping.
Wow.
So can I tell you my 8-minute story?
Yes, please.
So my message this year to people, and if you look at the international theme, it's actually is start the conversation, and that's very important. Now, Simon Sinek, you might know him, I love him. He have a story where he said one of his friends had a big thing happening in her life, and he went to her and he said to her, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you phone me that I could support you?" And she said to him, I did contact you. I asked you, can we have coffee? And you said, no, you're going to fly, you're going somewhere. I asked, can I come and see you Sunday? And you said, no, you're traveling, you'll contact me next week. And he said, but you never said it's serious. And she said then they spoke and they looked at the research. Research said if you have a crisis in your life and you've 8 minutes to talk to somebody about it, then it's more manageable for you because you share the load.
Yeah.
And they, as a circle of friends, then decided they're no longer going to say to each other, I have a problem, or can you talk to me?
Okay.
They said to each other, do you have 8 minutes?
Oh.
And for me, it's stunning because none of us are scared to ask, do you have 8 minutes? Because it's my crisis. I don't want to explain it on a WhatsApp before I start talking to you.
Exactly.
So I want people to embrace it and say to their family, let's do that. And say, if you've got a crisis, do you have 8 minutes?
And we
for me?
normalize it to a point where everybody actually gets it that if he or she says 8 minutes, then it's very vital that I lend them a
Then I
listening ear.
need you. So yes, that's the message to everyone. Be kind and have 8 minutes for the people in your life.
Wow. Christia, Yannicka, thank you so much, ladies, for coming through, and all the best for the walk next week. I think I'm going to look into whether I should go. I've been very lazy. I've gone back to gym, but I'm very lazy, especially with
Oh,
walks.
please
maybe,
join us.
maybe I must definitely give it a shot. So thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you so
All the
much,
best.
Luca. Bye.
AD, Beat Guy.